His masterpiece. By Émile Zola. Translated by Ernest Alfred Visitelli. Preface. His masterpiece, which in the original French bears the title of L'Oeuvre, is a strikingly accurate story of artistic life in Paris during the latter years of the Second Empire. Amusing at times, extremely pathetic and even painful at others, it not only contributes a necessary element to the Rougon-Macquart series of novels, a series illustrative of all phases of life in France within certain dates, but it also represents a particular period of M. Zola's own career and work. Some years, indeed, before the latter had made himself known at all widely as a novelist, he had acquired among Parisian painters and sculptors considerable notoriety as a revolutionary art critic, a fervent champion of that open-air school which came into being during the Second Empire, and which found its first real master in Edward Manet, whose then derided works are regarded in these later days as masterpieces. Manet died before his genius was fully recognized. Still, he lived long enough to reap some measure of recognition and to see his influence triumph in more than one respect among his brother artists. Indeed, few if any painters left a stronger mark on the art of the second half of the 19th century than he did, even though the school which he suggested rather than established lapsed largely into mere impressionism, a term, by the way, which he himself coined already in 1858, for it is an error to attribute it, as is often done, to his friend and junior Claude Monet. It was at the time of the Salon of 1866 that M. Zola, who criticized that exhibition in the Événement newspaper, first came to the front as an art critic, slashing out to right and left with all the vigor of a born combatant and championing M. Manet, whom he did not as yet know personally, with a fervor born of the strongest convictions. He had come to the conclusion that the derided painter was being treated with injustice, and that opinion sufficed to throw him into the fray, even as, in more recent years, the belief that Captain Dreyfus was innocent impelled him in like manner to plead that unfortunate officer's cause. When M. Zola first championed Manet and his disciples, he was only 26 years old, yet he did not hesitate to pit himself against men who were regarded as the most eminent painters and critics of France. And although, even as in the Dreyfus case, the only immediate result of his campaign was to bring him hatred and contumely, time, which always has its revenges, has long since shown how right he was in forecasting the ultimate victory of Manet and his principal methods. In those days, M. Zola's most intimate friend, a companion of his boyhood and youth, was Paul Cézanne, a painter who developed talent as an impressionist, and the lives of Cézanne and Manet, as well as that of a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?